Hello everyone, it's Dragana at Saacibo. Welcome and welcome back to my channel. I don't have a new tutorial for you this week, simply because I spent most of my time working in this journal. A few weeks ago, I've done a video on restoring this journal. It was created 4 years ago. I used it as an ephemera folio and a lot of pages were damaged and the pockets fell apart. You can see all of that in the video that I will link down below. And since then, I was really inspired to fully complete the journal. Not just images, not just pockets and pages and elements, but actually writing. And if you're looking for ideas on how to journal and what to journal about, then keep watching. I hope you'll get lots of inspiration from this. So today's video is going to be a flip through of a fully completed journal. Before we start flipping through the pages, I just want to mention this. When we did that first signature, one of the freebies was a page with words from different languages. And I've created another page with a different set of words. And here you have some words from different cultures, languages. There's also a few with Australian slang and some new age related concepts. A bit of a mixture of everything. And I will put this page on my website with the other one, so you will find them in the same section. Okay, and if you want to know how to get the freebies, please watch that other video. So basically what I did, I used those words that I found interesting and that I could relate to as prompts, and that opened up a whole world of possibilities for me. Okay, so the first word here translates to destiny, and I just found a quote by the Bosnian writer who actually won a Nobel Prize for literature years ago. I thought it was just really nice, and I don't know how to translate this. It wouldn't make sense probably. Then I have another word here, which is about doing good deeds, sort of thing. If like you help someone without expecting anything in return. And it just went so well with that poem that was part of that freebie. You've seen me restore this signature, but since then I've been writing here. And then I have this word here, which is melek. It translates to angel. It's just a dream that I had and I've written it down. And over here I don't have any words, just a sketch of a fern. Okay, put that back in. Then when it comes to this side here, we use wabi sabi, the beauty found in imperfection. I've written something about that here. Then here I said leaving a piece of your spirit in your creative work. I've explained about that word in the previous video. I just wrote what it meant to me when I'm creating, how I get so focused on my creative work that I completely forget to drink or eat or rest. And sometimes I have trouble because of that. There's that funny word, to make something worse by trying to improve it. I love that one. And then here we have another one, which is the peaceful solitude when surrounded by the living presence of trees and nature, being alone in the woods. I don't know how to pronounce most of these words, but it doesn't matter. I've researched the meaning and then I've tried to make connections with images, with writing, or with something that happened in my life, so I would just quickly write about it. And that would later remind me of the meaning of that word. And then here we have that poem. And then I just wrote lyrics of a song from a local artist that was about the spring and that feeling of renewal and being in love, but also about not having that love reciprocated. And I realized one of the words, which is this one, actually means exactly that. So I just placed the word there. Then over here, oh, this is a funny word. I love it. I think it's a Russian word for someone who asks too many questions. One of the criticisms I got as a child, from my father especially, is that I ask too many questions. And he would tell me usually, just do as I say, don't ask questions, but I just couldn't. I had to know why. I was happy to do it, whatever he asked of me, but I wanted to know why. And that annoyed him a lot. So that reminded me of that part of my life. And I just wrote here, I will never stop asking why. It's just the way I am. Then here we have that word, Japanese word, for the light that shines through the leaves. And I remembered I had a photo that I took. So I decided to print that photo and put it there. And I also done something like this just with the stencils that I had. The interplay of light and leaves when sunlight filters through trees. I just wrote here a little bit more about that, and whether there is a word in any language that describes the sound of nature, of insects, the birds, the leaves in the wind. If there's a word that encompasses all of that, I don't know if there is one. Okay. Then there's that word. I think that's a Russian word now. I can't remember. And it's about the anguish, sorrow, and frustration, and anxiousness, and all for no reason at all. You know, and you sometimes just feel off and you don't even know why. And then here we have this word. Oh, I think this is Spanish or Portuguese. I'm sorry if I made a mistake, but it's a place where you feel safe and where you can recharge. Oh yeah, a place where one feels safe and from which one draws strength. It might be different for everyone, but for me, it's my home. And I've decided to use that door. Rahat means when you're completely at peace with the world around you and with yourself. When you're totally relaxed, you're in that state of mind where you don't worry about anything and you don't think about anything that can worry you. And then here I've just written a little bit more about when do I feel at peace when I'm at home. It's usually in the evening when we finish the work, when we sit down to watch TV. So I've just written about that a little bit. And then there's that word, also Spanish word. I think it's about time spent lingering at the table after meal, talking with family or friends, savoring conversation and connection rather than rushing to the next activity. And then I've written here about the time when we used to do that while my mom was still around. We would go every weekend. She lived about 100 kilometers away from us, so we'd go every weekend. And I really loved spending time there, and those times when we would sit after having a meal and chatting about life, that was the best. Honestly, I miss that. I have another word here. That's a Japanese word. It's about seeing life with wonder. Then it reminded me of the day when my nephew was born. That was the first time in my life that I've seen a baby just been born, maybe an hour later. I was lost for words. It was so beautiful, and I always remember that moment. It was like magic. It was wonder. It was just so beautiful. I don't know how to explain. It's like that feeling of awe. Seeing that baby and the glow around it. I'm sure that most of you who have children will know what I'm talking about. Okay, on this page here, I think this was about home still. Yeah, written here about when we arrived in our new home here, when we returned. And there's a quote here, I think by Ellie Rodriguez. The light is what guides you home. The warmth is what keeps you there. Okay, and now we have this one, French word, and I don't know how to pronounce it. I've practiced yesterday, but now I've forgotten, and I don't want to make a fool of myself, but I will explain to you what it means. Perhaps you can guess from these pictures. They describe me leaving Sarajevo and arriving to Australia. This was 30 years ago. For the first 3 years of my life in Australia, that's how I felt. A bit lost and like I don't belong. It was very difficult for me to come to terms that I actually left my home and everything there. I basically came to Australia with just a suitcase with my personal stuff. Everything else was gone. Anyway, once my husband arrived, I completely forgot about the sadness. I was happy then. And now this here I was writing about when we came back to Bosnia, to Sarajevo, and it almost felt like a part of me that I've lost along the way somehow came back to me, and I felt whole again. It's very hard to describe. I went back to Australia a few times. I still have my brother and my nephew and a lot of other family there. I also have family here, so I have two homes, I suppose, but I feel more at ease here. So the home is where your heart is, I suppose. the word metaphysics, which is exploring the spiritual aspects of reality beyond the physical world. And it's a picture of my mom. And when I found out that my mom was terminally ill, I think it brought about a big change in me. Quantum leap is when something really big happens that changes you completely. I realized I had 3 major shifts. And interestingly, all of them happened around 12 years apart. So those were the 3 big events in my life that really made an effect on me. Okay, so here we have more of that spiritual awakening. You are not a drop in the ocean. You are the entire ocean in a drop. And I've written here, just one very powerful dream changed everything I believed in. Once I became aware of the connection to the divine light, I was never afraid again. It is powerful, it is pure, it is strong and bright, pure love, light and beauty, the highest frequency there is. So that was my spiritual awakening. More of that here. And as you can see, these were also reproductions of my paintings at the time. I've done a whole series and I called them Wheels of Life. So I've done the chakras here and there's one more, but I didn't include it, I guess. I've placed these words and then I've written, operating from a place of high frequency has brought about a great transformation in my life. I began experiencing synchronicity almost daily. Life seemed like magic. I was able to manifest abundance easily. I was finally able to go with the flow. It took another 10 years to slowly realign and find and that here is a Japanese word, ikigai, which is a reason for being. The intersection of what I love, what I'm good at, what the world needs, and what I can be paid for. So that's a little bit of my journey to this point in my life. Okay, so over here I have this word. It means the opposite of a nightmare. Okay, so it's a beautiful, beautiful dream. And I had such dream once. I've written about it here. I felt ultimate love and protection while being held by these enormous, beautiful wings in the night sky. Feathers were soft and warm. I was at peace. I woke up feeling at ease and hopeful. To this day, I feel protected, although I forget sometimes. This is to remind me of that most amazing dream from almost 30 years ago. And the morning after that dream, I woke up and I just quickly did a painting of those wings as I remembered. And that's the last piece of that painting because I actually cut it up and created bookmarks with it. But I took a photo beforehand. And here, another Japanese word that describes that anything that's broken can be fixed with gold and made even stronger. You know, in the case of pottery, sometimes in Japanese culture, they would fix broken pottery with gold and make it even more beautiful. And says here, repair what's broken with gold and embrace damage. And I had this jelly print created with my hot glue stencil and I tore it by accident. And my first instinct was to throw it away and then I kept it. I don't even know why. And it's not pottery, it's a torn print. Try to make it better and I really love it now. I don't mind that it's broken. I think it's cool. Okay, that's more about that here. Just some things that happened. And this word here is a word that a lot of us junk journals should know. I can't pronounce. I think it's Portuguese or Spanish. Creative problem solving, making do with what you got. Celebration of human resourcefulness. Over here I have a tape made with receipt. We've done that in a video. We painted shopping receipts. Then here also have some other scrap papers and more scraps. That's a masterboard made with book pages. Those are envelopes. Over here I have some dried plants. They're laminated, so we make do with what we got. And then we have this page here. That word means profound transformative change of heart, mind and worldview, a turning around of one's life. It signifies a deep fundamental shift in perspective rather than a minor change. Total reorientation. And I've written here, our return to Sarajevo is the best decision we made together because we completely changed our lives and our outlook. It was a scary experience at first, but I'm glad we did it because we were able to concentrate more on art, on doing what we really love rather than being in a rat race, continuously trying to fit in and catch up with the rest, if you know what I mean. When you come to a new country, you start from zero, so you have to work twice as hard to make up for what's lost or just to be in the race. And it's very exhausting. And it left me no time to do much creative work, especially as I was getting older. It was harder and harder. If you wonder why the fish, it's because we built a little pond and we kept making it bigger and bigger every year as the fish grew. And it's our favorite spot to sit, at least once during the day if the weather permits, sometimes even during the winter with a blanket and a hot tea. It's so calming watching these fish swim. And we love to talk about our plans or whatever we talk about during the day. We work from home, so usually when I say to my husband, "Are you ready for a break?" He goes, "Yeah, okay, I'll meet you at the pond." So that's where we have our break during the day. You know, when you work, you have to take a break from time to time. So we take a break next to the pond, and as soon as we sit down, all the cats and dogs follow us there, and it's a crowded place all the time. Okay, now this word here is also a Japanese word. It describes a habit of buying books with intention to read, but just never reading, just piling them up. And it also acknowledges that sometimes the intention to read is just as important as actually reading it. And I've written here, now I feel much better about my habit of buying art and craft supplies and not using them. I wonder if there's a word for that. Okay, now here we have this word. I'm not sure if it's English or German. It says shining between, shining through, shining among, metaphor for light, hope or beauty, emerging through darkness or obscuring elements, triumph of light over dark. And I've shown you this in the previous video. If you'd like to know how to make a window like this, watch that other video from a week ago. And this one is about love, and I put Spanish word for love. One of my viewers from Chile, she sent me some really nice Spanish words that she loves, and I've included most of them in that freebie with words. You can always send me more words. As soon as I have enough, I will create, if I need to, even 10 more pages of words. Just let me know. I don't speak all of these languages. I speak only 2. So I'm happy to put more. Okay, now here we have this word. I think it is it Scottish or Welsh? It describes homesickness for a place that may not exist anymore or never existed at all. It's deeper than nostalgia. It's longing for a sense of home that lives more in your heart than in any physical location. I have a key here. That's another freebie. That's a freebie. This is all freebies. I used mostly freebies. And I've written here, there is a place that I've never been to, and yet I'm homesick for it. Perhaps it's a place where I'd like to live when I retire. All I know is that it's next to the sea or river, small place with rich history and a lot of sunny days and a moderate warm climate. Isn't that what most of us dream about? To retire somewhere nice and warm. I think that's the German word. It's also meaning being homesick for a place you've never been to. And I put that door there. And there is a place that I've been to that kind of reminds me of that imaginary place where I'd like to retire. And I picked that plant from that place and laminated it. So I'm going to put it there. And then I go on daydreaming about this place and what it looks like and how I imagine my life. That was a lot of fun. And here I've written more about that. As you can see, I really went on. I'm not unhappy where I am, but if you ask me if there's a place where I would be even happier, that's it. And look at this. This word means family, but not just blood-related family, also family that you choose. I think it's from Hawaii. And this is my family of choice. I have 3 dogs, Nora, Bobby, and Benji. And we have the little cat family here, Lucy, Jeff, you met him in the previous video, Pango, the youngest one, Matsi, Maya, and Medo. So I really love them all. They all have really distinct personalities, but they do get along. Sometimes they fight, but all kids do. Okay, now here I have this word. Again, I don't know how to pronounce, but I know what it means. It means to be touched deeply by art or song. And then I thought about, was there a song or a piece of art that really moved me deeply? And I remembered a song, Saudade, by Maro from a few years ago. It just really touched me. I really cried a lot when I listened to it because at the time I lost my grandmother. Anyway, you might have a song like that you really respond to deeply. And then this word, I love it, supernaculum. It's a drink that you take and you sip slowly and you savor every drop. And I was thinking, do I really have a drink like that? I mean, I like to drink coffee, I like to drink tea. But it's really special when my husband says, how about if you make us that hot chocolate, the thicker one that you make? And it's really almost like a reward. If we do a good job during the day or we've completed something and you want to relax, I make that hot chocolate and I've written the recipe so I don't forget. You can maybe copy it, take a screenshot. Oh, I've covered some of it here. That's what you need and that's how you make. It's not that hard. This word here means to lift someone's spirits up. I realized the person that always lifts my spirits up is my husband. And that is actually the meaning of his name. So it's true to his name. He really makes me laugh all the time. If he sees me sad, he will do something to make me laugh, for sure. And that's what I love about him the most. Here I have manifesting. And what I've written here was, when you make a wish that perfectly aligns with your life's purpose and it comes from that place of pure honesty where ego has no room, you'd be surprised how quickly it will come true. And the reason I've put that there is to remind myself what happened is my husband went to a client to take photos of their shop for their website. I've done a logo design for them. He's doing the website for them. So he went in to just take a few photos. And as it happens, they were a wholesale shop for fabrics, upholstery fabrics mainly. And he saw a big pile of discarded fabric samples that they were taking to the rubbish. And only 2 days before, I was having fun with creating little quilts with pieces of fabric. And I didn't have many fabrics. I said to him, oh, I wish I had a lot of different fabrics. Not big pieces, just smaller pieces of many different fabrics that I can piece together and create something fun. And I just said it casually, but I really meant it at the time because I was limited by what I had. So I couldn't really create the look that I wanted. And then he was there, he got those fabric samples and came back home with a car full of fabric samples. And when I saw that, I started crying. Because my wish literally came true within 2 days. And it was actually the start of Saacibo because before I started doing tutorials and having a YouTube channel, I was sewing a lot of bags, little pouches and things from those fabric samples and selling them on Etsy. So that's how I started. Basically, that's the birth of Saacibo. It started as a sewing hobby and this is what it is now. It doesn't mean that I won't go back to sewing again at some stage. We'll see. And then there's a few more instances like that. And then here we have this word, serendipity, or in Spanish version, that's the Spanish version. And I don't know if you remember, I think it was 2 years ago, how I discovered this printing method is truly serendipity because, I think I've written it here, I was trying to emboss papers with leaves and when it didn't work, I decided to paint that paper with rust water. To my surprise, the leaf print appeared in black. true serendipity moment. So that's when things happen without you planning, and then you discover new things. So as you see, all of these words kind of triggered some memory or some thought, and I would just write about it, and sometimes the images would support that and help me remember the meaning of those specific words. And then those two words, almost similar meaning, and it's about to snuggle or cuddle beyond physical comfort, a way of living, embracing simple pleasures, finding comfort in small things, creating cozy moments wherever you are. And I've just written what that means to me. And there's that image, that's a freebie too. And more of that here about creating that space where we feel safe and loved and comfortable. And then this one looks like child's drawing, don't laugh. This was about my dog Benji. You can see 3 different words here. That one means restless, often intense mixture of anxiety, anticipation, and excitement that one feels before embarking on a journey. 2 years ago, we were going on a holiday to Croatia coastline, and that's Benji in the car. He looks like he's smiling. He was so excited and he didn't even know where we were going. To this day, he loves to be in the car with us, even if we just do shopping errands. You just go to the supermarket, we have to take him. He wants to be in the car. And this word, bimble, slow, relaxed walks without haste or specific purpose are the best. According to Benji, he loves to bimble around. Definitely. He's escaped so many times. He would dig under the fence and just go and roam the streets and end up in our neighbor's home, just, checking up on them. Everybody knows him in the street. Wanderlust, ever-present urge or desire to travel. And I've created a little map from imagination. I think I want to explore the map idea a bit more, but for now that's just a really crude drawing. Okay, and then this word here symbolizes that smell the earth produces when it rains after a long period of drought. And then I went on here. Is there a word in any language that describes the smell of city streets after the rain? I grew up in an urban area, and every summer, if we had a long period without rain, and then when it would rain, in the city, it's not the earth so much, it's more like the smell of streets. To this day, that reminds me of childhood. And I've used that lady I've left you last week as a freebie, and I had this old collage, and when I placed it there behind her, it just was so fitting. That round part was just where it should be. And I've had that piece for 4 years, I think. Okay, now we have this word here, Turkish word for waking up early and basically listening to the birds. 2 crows that come every morning, and I leave some food for them, and I call them Dot and Dash. And they had youngs recently. They introduced me to one of their babies, so I just wrote about them. And because I'm usually the first one to get up in this house, I like to go out, feed the fish, feed the birds. Okay, then over here I just have these images that remind me of country life, and that word here is it's in Bulgarian. It says the art of enjoying life in a calm, slow way without rushing. And I've written further, perhaps it's about sipping your tea or coffee slowly, enjoying the taste and having enough time to smell the roses. Hence the roses. Again, that word, the smell of earth after the rain. Just remind myself to sometimes take a break and stop what I'm doing and just inhale. I don't think I put anything here, no. In Bosnian, that also means to slow down. Don't haste, because life will go by very quickly without you realizing. And then I've done a little sketch here of the dandelions. And, their flowers don't last really long. The wind blows and they're gone. So just slow down. Okay, then this word, the Spanish word for that effect, when the sky becomes really orange and purple It's a photo from our home in Australia. Whenever I see that, I think of my arrival to Australia for the first time, because when the plane was landing in Melbourne, it was sunrise and the whole sky was mixture of orange and purple. I've never seen anything so beautiful in my life, and to this day, every time I see that, I remember that moment. Not to mention that I was so excited coming to a new country, reconnecting with the family I had there. It's all mixed together. Unforgettable, I've written at the end. Unforgettable. Okay. And then this word, moonglade, or that's a Swedish word, is also a reflection of the moon on the water. So I've written about that here. And this one, I left it empty on purpose because it actually illustrates so well what that word means. It's the fear of starting fresh. It could be the fear of failure, the fear of white page, the fear of starting something new. I've realized I had that fear for years. I would buy a canvas to paint on, and when I see it white, I wouldn't be able to start. And then I remember one of my teachers said to me, if you have a problem with that white, why don't you just paint it in any other color? So I was just painting the canvases in any color, mostly in red, and then doing the painting over. And that's how I overcome that. And I think with junk journals, because we dye the pages, they already have something. Like this is not considered to be new or white because it is dyed. If I had a page here that was completely white, it would be scary to look at for me because I have a fear of that. Okay, and then here I left a few more words that I didn't cut and a few more definitions, and I've shown you this in one of the videos. I've created like a little, storage cupboard for my words. So if I do journaling in any other journal, I could just go and look for a word and use it as a prompt. And here is the last one. I've just left a little piece of paper here to write notes if I wanted to. It's just from another freebie. So that is my journal. I'm surprised I can still close it somehow. But it was so much fun doing this. It was also very healing for me. And I hope it was fun for you to watch. And if you want to journal and you don't know what to journal about, just grab some words, use them as prompts, and journal about anything. It will make you feel better. I don't think I have much room left. Maybe I'll add a few things or not. I don't know. But I pretty much feel like it's completed. I put everything I wanted to in it, and that's now a closed book. Now I can close it and put it on the shelf and start another one. Some people love making journals for others and selling them, and that's totally fine. And some people like to use them to journal in, to write, to draw, or to glue pictures. Anything is fine, whatever makes you happy. For a change, I just wanted to show you a flip through of a completed journal. I've done something similar a few years ago when I've shown you my journal for the year 2022. I will link it down below. And I guess I can call this one year 2026. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I hope I see you soon in my next video. Bye for now.